This is your host, Rambunctious.
And your co-host, Tayamu Denku. Pick apart the passion. Pick apart the passion. Pick the passion. Pick apart the passion. Pick.
If it's only noise, why does the noise speak to you? If it's only noise, why is the noise peeking through? If it's only noise, why does the noise speak to you? If it's only noise, why is the noise peeking through? As I awake in this veinless castle, moat dry, trees birth dead apples. I'm being fragile, boxed by myself, padded room enchantment, the hand I was dealt. Jokes on me, the deck's only face cards. Houston, we have a dead Whitney. No needed bodyguard, place our lords on these uneven bars. Gymnastic, scarred sarcastic, liquid nitro to your thermoplastic. In these streets I fight alongside a man that's mega, claws like Vega that scratch under Serwin pressure. Best not lecture those that are unhannable. Unleash the beast, alter the genesis animal. Omega code, passwords to reach end sentence. Retinas get squeezed, lemons stretch vision past torn tendons. Pick destiny, search engines, held at browser. Voice speaks in fire flame, untamed Bowser. You cower in a corner, obtuse, acute. The rap game sounds better on mute. Undisputed, rerouted, thoughts on diced raw ice. Peer through your brain while combing for venomous lice. Render your sight to only see the unseen. Derived from chambers where secrets don't know what they mean. Deemed incredible, Alice won't eat the edible. A land far from wonder where believables are skeptical. If it's only noise, why does the noise speak to you? If it's only noise, why is the noise peeking through? If it's only noise, why does the noise speak to you? If it's only noise, why is the noise peeking through?
Esoteric, these special lyrics infect your spirit. So raw, the deaf gon' hear it. Press on, fearless, let off, cover fire through the muck and mire. Rap fans in love with liars, now we uninspired. Try on the power glove and none of your fits at the tension. So thick that you can cut it with scissors. So listen to the rumble of the stomach of a starving artist. To the untrained ear, it's just garbled garbage. But I'm far from novice, John Woo with a harder target. Head spinning like rotisseries at a Boston market. Creativity don't hassle me at all. Like I'm fighting with a system that won't naturally evolve. No stagnancy.
Welcome to Pick Apart the Passion podcast. My name is Rambunctious. My guy Tayamu Denku with me. You know what I mean? We making it happen. Today we have a very special episode. Female bare knuckle boxing fighter. Oh, you did the his phone. You fucked me up.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was about to say something.
Yeah. You gotta show.
No, but
gotta
Britton
show the
Hart,
money
man.
makers.
Britton Hart, fresh off beating Paige Van Zandt. I watched that fight. It was incredible. A lot of things you had to say intrigued me about that fight. But thank you for coming today. Thank you for giving us your time. How are you, by the way?
Absolutely. I don't mind being on here at all. It's super awesome to meet you guys. And I'm always excited to meet new people and definitely talk about something I'm super passionate about.
Yes.
So I'm doing great. I had a good day at the gym today. I got some sparring rounds in today with the world champ. So I'm feeling pretty great.
Who's the world champ?
Joey Beltran.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I know.
Okay.
So I give him a run for his money. So
Yeah.
I know he's said before that he'd fight anybody, including me. So we make sure it happens and we get our rounds in.
Yeah. So I had said before we started this, I'd say you're the second fighter we had. We had Sergio Pettis. Shout to him. That's a friend of Denku's in a way. But you're the first female we've had on this podcast. So I want to salute you and appreciate you. We have not tried to have females, but you're the first, coincidentally. And I'm just saying, I think that's super dope. We've been wanting that female energy. And the fact that you're a fighter is just like, hey, it's double time. You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely. And thank you.
yeah,
I mean, it is a big thing. You're right. It's not that anyone is discriminating against women. I don't ever take it as that. It's just there's not a lot of women in combative sports. And they don't really get a lot of attention because there's just really, it's hard to find good female fighters that kind of stay with it because of just how life goes. But, it's a super honor to represent female and be a female voice and be heard on the combative level.
well, appreciate you. I got a lot of questions. I got like 2 pages of questions. I don't know if we're gonna get to them all, but I got excited, man. I started, be honest, I knew who you were, but I didn't know a lot about you. And then I started to research. Deku told me some stuff to research, and I started looking. I'm like, yo, I fucks with this. I fucks with her heavy because a lot of it is your mind frame going into fights and the things you've talked about. You know what I'm saying? So, first of all, let's start. Where are you from?
So it's always such a long, complicated process when I say that. So I guess it just kind of goes into who I am and being kind of a complex individual. But I was born in Utah, and I was actually an Air Force brat. So I moved over to Turkey and then Germany and then North Carolina and Virginia. So, I mean, basically, I just kind of stick with I'm from Utah. And then I grew up in Germany because I spent most of my childhood years there. And then, since then, I've just been home is where the heart is.
Okay.
That's what's up.
And then, how did you get into fighting? Like, I mean, is that a normal path for you, or is it something that became unexpected and it was like, this is what I'm doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, it's probably one of the things that makes me almost like a really powerful force in fighting because I don't have the typical background that you would from a boxer, MMA fighter. I actually, I did play sports. I was definitely big into sports, but the traditional sports,
what sports?
basketball.
Yeah. Okay.
I did basketball, soccer, football, volleyball.
That's a lot of sports.
Ones.
That's a lot of sports, Britain. That's a lot of sports.
Yeah, I know. Well, I guess when you put it that way, but sports has always been a big part of my life. Never boxing though. I actually went to school and got my master's in sport management. So again, that just shows my passion in sports. And then while I was in college and finishing my degree, basically without getting into all the horrific details, I was in a really bad relationship and, it was a really abusive relationship. And because of that, and my life kind of spiraled out of control. And I lost everything that I worked really hard for. And I found myself in a lot of legal trouble. I was in and out of jail. I had a lot of, I was arrested for a lot of things. And I felt like I was never going to get hired. I felt like I was never going to get a job. I was never going to make it. I kept going back to, an abusive relationship because I didn't really have anything else. And when that ended up really, really bad, I found myself in a boxing gym just to kind of escape real world. And I was in so much pain at the time, just from physical pain, and then mental pain, emotional pain. And when I was in the boxing gym, it just all went away. It gave me something to focus on and kind of get away and not turn to drugs or alcohol. And then when I started fighting, I didn't have any money. So, I was going to the gas station, counting out like quarters and pennies and going up.
Been there.
And yeah, exactly. No, I mean, and it's so serious. And it's like, man, like just trying to find $3.21 and change just to get enough gas to make it somewhere else,
Man, what a beautiful story. And you at where you're at. I was hesitant to ask you about that relationship, which you had kind of mentioned before. You had said Paige Van Zandt hit you hard as fuck, as hard as you ever been hit. And then you said the comment of, and I've been hit by men. When I heard that, I was like, it fucked me up. I got a daughter, you know what I'm saying? He has 2 daughters. When you said that, it was like, oh, shit. I don't know how to bring this up, but you did. Right. So talk about the strength it took to bounce back from that. I think that's very important for women to hear. Being as successful as you are, you're talking about $3.21 and you're as successful as you are now. That's a big thing. You know what I mean? And so talk about the perseverance, please, that it took to get to that point.
Right. I mean, I definitely didn't, sometimes I feel like that was part of my struggle is feeling kind of like I was lost. Like I really lost myself in the process, and you hear people saying that, especially with toxic relationships, it's like no worse feeling than losing yourself. Like we can be sad about losing our partner, ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever, but nothing is as painful as feeling like you lost yourself. And I feel like when people said I was so strong and amazing, I felt like I struggled with that because I didn't feel that I was that strong, because I had my points when I was low and I felt like I wouldn't get out of this. But, you know, I have 2 kids and, you know, they were basically my saving light in it. You know, I knew that I had to be strong for them. And then it kind of made me find myself that being strong for yourself only goes so far, but when you can be strong for other people. So it transpired. It went from just being strong for my kids to being strong to, like you said, being strong for other women, or being strong for other men that go through it. Cause it's not just women that go through that, men can go through it too.
Yes.
So being strong for other people kind of got me out of my slump. And it's that purpose that I would tell, you know, finding something to believe in and finding faith and finding hope and pouring your energy into that. And, you know, for me, like I said, it didn't come easy. It definitely wasn't easy. I won't lie and tell anybody that, hey, just get up and do it. It really takes a lot. And the best thing, you know, basically I tell everyone it's kind of a sad, pathetic story, but I'll tell you, you know,
it's an empowering strength story. It's not sad and empowering. It's not sad. It's empowering to people. Trust me. When I saw that, it was empowering to me. So I'm sorry to cut you off, but I want to make you speak shit into existence, and that's not sad at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Thank you.
100%.
But yeah, you know, I remember basically just locking myself in my house for, I mean, I'm talking like 3 months and just sitting there and being like, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to do it? And it was when my bank account was at negative $232. Like I still remember seeing that number and being like, oh, how am I going to do this? So I actually went and got I can't even believe it, but I went to a temp agency because I needed money so bad. And I was like, I'll take any job. Just give me a job. And I did that job. And it was at a Earth Fair, so it's like a grocery store, and I just had to stand in front and hand flyers out for $8 an hour.
Were you fighting yet at this point?
Yeah, I was fighting, but it wasn't. You know, I kind of took a step back from it because, like, mentally, I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So it was kind of in my it was in March 2017. So I started fighting professionally in 2016. But, you know, I had already kind of gone through it because that's where I had met my ex in the relationship was in a fighting atmosphere. So it kind of, it was kind of a negative place that reminded me of that too, you know, like I kind of need to take a step back from it because it was something that brought back negative feelings and not wanting to be around people that didn't support you or didn't see, you know, we're going to be positive influences. So, but yeah, I mean, I was working, getting $8 an hour, and then people, you know, I smiled.
In 2017?
Yeah, exactly. With a master's degree. With a master's degree. So I'm telling you,
you don't been through it all.
That's rough.
Yeah.
God,
yeah. And I worked that job for 2 weeks. And one person saw me there and they're like, wow, you're always smiling. You always come here and do your job. We would like to hire you to be a recruiter. And we think you'd be perfect at it. And I remember having a horrible long story with them about my background report and thinking there's no way they're going to hire me. Been there, done that. And I explained it to them and they said, well, we'll still give you the job. It's $16 an hour. And boom. And I started, and that's where I met one of my best friends, Jennifer. And it was her going to work every day and seeing her and having someone to talk to. I found another gym. So I went to a little old, it was a fire department that got turned into a boxing gym. So very limited, but, you know, big shout out to Champs in Roanoke, Virginia. It has a ring. Okay. Yeah, it had a ring and it had 2 bags. That's it. 2 bags and a ring. But that was all I needed. And I got back in the gym there and I was there for a year. And then I got, after a year layoff, I hadn't had a fight. It was like a year and 1 month. I took my next fight and I was back at it. So, you know, and it's been ever since that day, basically, which I was in it before too, but it was just, I mean, it was a lot going into it, trying to fight back and going through really bad management because I was, you know, managed by same people And it was just, it was definitely really rough, but basically just having to stick through it and hitting rock bottom to know, hey, the only way up from here is up. So it took getting to that point to bounce back.
Yeah. Man, that's inspiring. It really is. Seriously.
Randomly, Roanoke is a very beautiful town, by the way.
It is. It's cool. So let's get to the fight, man. The recent one you had with Paige Van Zandt. She's coming from UFC. Is there any pressure on you at that point? Let's start with that. Do you feel that pressure while you're training?
I felt like the pressure in it, like, again, I think that was the first fight in my life. I think all the time I was like, I need to win this fight for me. I need to win to get my career. I need to win to fix all the bad things in my life. Like, I need to win, me. I need to win to fix me. For the Paige Van Zandt fight, it was the first time I said, I need to win for someone else. Like, I need to win for all the people that have seen, all the people that know what I'm going through, that have had like these personal conversations like me and you are having. Those people were the people messaging me every day saying, come on, Britton, you can do this. Come on, Britton, we believe in you. And I was like,
who are those people?
Win this fight for them.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but who are those people? That's important. Are they close people to you? Fans? Like,
yeah, like 50-50, man. Some of them were like old friends from high school, or, basically at champs, meeting those people, being in the gym. I liked being in the gym like that because there was like a lot of, I hate saying this, but it's like a sense of brokenness. When you're around other people that are broken, you feel like you're not alone, and then they don't feel alone. And I felt like in the gym, it wasn't trying to live up to some standard like a UFC fighter or a professional boxer. It's like, hey, we're all here because we're going through something. We're all here training because life fucking sucks, and this is our getaway. And because I had that with them, a lot of them, I don't want to put their personal business, but, a lot of them struggle with problems that, that a lot of people go through, whether it be drugs or alcohol, abusive relationships, losing your job, being broke, poverty, whatever it is, they had it, and I could relate to it. And so it kind of was a place where, they saw me never give up. So I felt like it kind of rubbed off on them, and they were like, we are not going to give up. We're going to get clean. We're going to go do this. We're going to train. We're going to get a second job. A lot of them I actually hired because I was a recruiter, and I placed them in jobs. So I helped my people in my hood get out of poverty and get a job so they could feed their families. So it kind of like was like a full circle effect. But then some people who followed me on Facebook, again, especially, I was vocal about when I did get into the altercation. I did post pictures, what I looked like. I know they were probably terrible, and it was a message though, and it took a lot for me to do. But, basically I was standing up for myself because I think, he was trying to say, oh, he did what he did because I hit him first, which wasn't true. But, I basically put the pictures up to say, this is what I look like. What do you look like? If I hit you first, you post your picture and what you look like, because this is what I look like. And I just wanted to I wanted to speak my truth because I didn't touch him first. I didn't hit him first. And so because I was standing up for me, when people saw those pictures, it made it more real. And they, followed me because of that. So even that, a lot of people were like, Britton, you need to take those pictures down. They're awful. Take it down right away. It's going to affect you. It's going to affect your kids. But, I basically said, no, I'm going to speak the truth no matter what it gets me or what people think. And, I got the fans and friends and people to inspire that way. And a lot of people shared their message because of that. I'm complaining and crying over, a broke nose and some stitches. But there was one girl who sent me a picture. Her ex-husband slit her throat, and she had a scar across her throat. And she was like, you give me so much power and motivation that I'm going to be okay. And she shared her story. And again, it was more of like unity on, life can hurt sometimes and nothing hits harder, but we move forward. And having those people reach out to me gave me power and inspiration. And they followed me throughout my journey. And I would take these rough, super tough fights because I am a bit of a risk taker and a gambler. And they would follow me and be like, come on, Britton, you got this. Do it for you. Do it for you. And I'd be like, yeah. and then I would fall just short, and they'd be like, don't worry, you're still our champ. We still love you. You know, you'll get them next time. Like they still had my back, but
encouragement, right?
Yeah, I was like, man, how many times are these people going to say this? Like, how are they really going to believe in me? How are they going to believe in themselves if they always see me fall short? So I changed things up, and I made some huge sacrifices. You know, I slept out of my car. I rented, I bought my own home when I was 22, but, you know, because I went through the financial troubles and keep up with it, you know, I ended up, you know, renting it out so I could, you know, save money from that way. And I chose to sleep out of my car. And so I slept out of my car and stayed at gyms. And, you know, I moved around. I went in Vegas and stayed in Vegas for 2 months to get training at an amazing gym with amazing coaches there. I went to Florida to train at a good gym there. I went to Philly to train there just to get this experience and kind of find who I am and where I belong. And it was a process, but it was something that now I can look at you today and say it was worth every sacrifice, because I would not be here knowing what I know. I wouldn't have been able to fight Paige Vincent and been so successful if I didn't have that drive to really show that I gave up everything to prove to everyone you can do it.
Yeah. Man, it's a lot. You answered a lot of my questions already. Just you said before you were a talker. I saw you say you were a talker. And in that press conference after the fight, and he was like, but I'm not talking so much, but I don't know what to say. And so I was like, okay. But you're going to make this easy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is awesome. Go ahead.
When you go to all those different fighting gyms all over, are you at that point, like, do those people know you already? Are you welcome? Just like they just welcome you in, like they're, you know what I'm saying? Like, or do you just randomly pick out gyms that you want to go to, or, you know what I'm saying?
No, not at all. It's actually really, it kind of has a sense of, like, it's crazy. It has a sense of like fate and destiny to it, because it's like, I remember when I went to school, so I do have to say that my degree did help me, but I remember going to school and then preaching this thing about networking, and that networking is so super important on who you know and being there, and that success is 80% just showing up. 20% is skill and having the talent, but 80%, if you just show up, you'll make it. So when I took the big fight in New Jersey, everybody told me, no, don't take it. Don't take it. This girl's a highly decorated amateur. You're a B-side.
Who's that
you're
against?
Gonna lose. It was against this girl named Sacred Downing.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was on Evander Holyfield's card. So it was a pretty big at the Taj Mahal in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So a huge mecca for boxing. Yes. And that was actually my comeback fight. So I had actually not fought for the 13 months that I was just telling you about. And I knew, I was like, I have to get back into this, because if I don't get back in now, when will I? Like, when is it going to be enough? When will be the right time? I have to see where I'm at. So I went and took that fight, even though everyone told me no, and no one believed in me. No one thought I had a chance. And no, I didn't win. But I was very close, and it was definitely fight of the night. But when I was there, a lot of people were impressed by me. And this one guy from Philly said, if I ever wanted to come to Philly and train with him, that he would train me and that he would help me. So that's how I got that connection. Then I took a fight in Las Vegas. It was so funny. They called me and they said, are you fight ready? And I was like, yeah, sure, I'm fight ready. They said, all right, you need to fight in Vegas this Friday. This was
Were you
Monday.
lying? Were you lying?
Yeah, I was definitely lying. I was definitely lying. I was definitely on the couch eating donuts, watching Shark Tank. Like, literally donut in my mouth while I was on the phone. Yeah, I'm fight ready. And they said Friday. I spit the donut out. I'm like, this Friday. Whoa. So I'm thinking me saying I'm fight ready is backfiring. And I'm like, well, 4 days notice. I don't know. Who is it? The girl's 5-0. I'm like, hell no. I'm not taking no fight 4 days notice for a girl who's 5-0. And they're like, well, Britton, you're really, she only fought soup cans. She's really not that good. You can beat her. So I look it up, and well, they were kind of right. She didn't fight anybody tough.
She had some weak fights, right?
So I caught them all smooth, and I was like, well, if you double the purse, I'll go out there. I got off the phone thinking that they'd say, hell no, we're not going to do that. We're not doubling it. They call me back and they say, deal, you fly out tomorrow. And I'm like, what? So I already had put my foot in my mouth. And so
you're at rock bottom, you feel like, at this point.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm still on the couch eating donuts, watching Shark Tank. So
Yeah, like I just said, I was eating donuts. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I'm really not that successful. I'm still in my
Yeah.
depressed mode.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
I basically didn't have any money, was depressed, feeling sorry for myself. But here's an opportunity, and I'm like, damn it, here it is. So I went out to Las Vegas, right? Didn't have a coach, didn't have a corner, didn't know anybody, and I'm fighting on Roy Jones Jr.'s promotion on UFC Fight Pass. So now I'm like, damn it, Britton, you really messed up. So I meet this guy, his name's Rocky. He, an awesome guy, but he's like really big and jacked. He has tattoos everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? We ended up going out to Denny's and eating together. We instantly clicked. He was awesome. We went to the gym. He held pads for me and he cornered me, and I got a draw that night. I didn't win, but I didn't lose.
Right.
And again, it was probably one of the better fights of the night. So I met him and Jason, who's at Las Vegas Fight Club, which is a pretty amazing gym. And they said the same thing because of the heart I had and everything and the grit. They're like, you can come out here anytime. So that's how I met them, which I did. I took them. So everybody's offer. Basically, I'm an opportunist. I might have, had some things that I didn't do great and some things I could have done better. But when someone gave me an opportunity and opened a window for me, I just went and did it. I didn't hesitate. I jumped and just said, hey, it's either now or never. So that's how I got that opportunity. And then in Florida, basically they said, hey, come down here, we can train you, we're positive that we can get you to beat these high level fighters. You have what it takes. We'll get you a job, we'll get you a place to live. And so I took them, I said, okay. So I went down there and did that. So that's how all those opportunities came. And then again, just being out there and taking these tough fights, people saw who I was. And I didn't have all the pieces together. I didn't. So I'm not going to lie to you. I definitely didn't have the pieces together, eating donuts and doing stuff that pro athletes probably don't always do.
Hey, sometimes you got to eat a donut. You feel
yeah,
okay.
Exactly. So, I mean, but it's more of the story. It's more of being real with you guys right now and telling people like, look, I'm not anything special. Like, I'm not great. I'm just like you. I'm a normal person sitting on the couch. But what I did that's different is I did it. I went and took
You
the
decided.
I said yes. Yeah, exactly. I made the choice to decide it. And how many times do people try to help us and we're like, not today, maybe tomorrow, or maybe next week? How many of us are guilty of doing that? And so it's just kind of getting people to get over that fear. A lot of people have a fear of failing, but I think a lot of people have a fear of being successful. And they fear what good might come out of it and what change it might. And change can be hard for anyone, whether it's good change or bad change. And so that's what set me apart. And now that people could see that I took those opportunities, it got me to the point where I am now, which is, I mean, amazing. I still cry probably.
I was gonna say, do you pinch yourself here and there?
Yeah, I do. I still tear up at least once a week looking at some of the things I'm in, like the gym I'm in at now in Miami. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. It has this mural on the wall. It has not 2 bags, but like 20 bags. And I just look at it and I'm like, man, did I really make it here? Like, is this really my life now? Like, I'm around good people that love me and support me for who I am and not what I can do for them. They're actually doing it because they respect me. And I earned that. And, it's good to feel that I'm around, feeling like I made it, and I'm around positivity and something where I can really, truly grow.
Sure. Yeah. Let's get to this Paige Van Zandt fight. I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to add, one question I had is, and I've wanted to ask this of boxers before. I think this is perfect though, because of the way y'all kind of stalled each other out for probably a good 30 seconds. Just, all right, what's she doing? What's she doing? Right? What's going through your mind before you throw that first monstrous fucking jab in the beginning of that fight? That first jab you hit was like, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then you got warmed up. And then she's trying to go inside. But anyway, before we get to that, what's going through your mind, or any boxer, when that first 30 seconds, what are you feeling out with someone who's not a boxer and an MMA fighter? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you're looking at it different because it's not a boxer. What is she going to do? What are you thinking right then?
Right. So that was one of the things in camp that was probably the most mentally stressful because everyone was like, Britain, she's going to clinch. She's going to come in. She's going to fight you dirty. She's going to be an inside fighter. So
She
basically, yeah, all our fight camp. But I kept telling people, I was like, I don't think she will. I think that she'll run and be on the outside. And they're like, no. She's not going to do it. I'm like, I bet she circles the outside and circles around, and I'm going to have to chase her down correctly and cut the ring off. But everyone was like, yeah. And that was my adjustment. But, it's funny you say that. And I'll tell you what because I have the perfect answer for it. Because when I went to go watch the fight back, the only thing I wanted to see when I watched the fight back was, did I hit her first? Did I hit her first?
You indeed did.
Yeah, that was the only thing. So when I was on my line, like you said, it was kind of because she moved straight back as soon as they said knuckle up. She moved straight back, and I was like, shit, I have to go chase her now. And I was like, dude, I have got to chase her. But when a boxer chases someone, they run the risk of being countered or running into a shot. So you got to be a little bit more tactful. I love when fighters pressure me and when fighters come into me, because it's just making my job easier. Because I'm a tough, I'm a banger.
You're coming at my punches that are already planned. Right.
Yeah. But if I have to chase you down, now I'm like, am I leaning too far? Am I overextending? All that stuff kind of comes into play. So basically so that was the very first thing I was thinking was be first. I mean, over in my head, be first, hit that bitch first, and that's basically what I was thinking. So then when she ran, I was like, so then you see the adjustments in my head. I'm like, well, that didn't go the way I thought, and I knew it. And, I was balancing all those thoughts running through my head. Like, I knew she was going to do this. I should have trusted my gut. I didn't get off the exact shots that I wanted to. And then I felt myself leaning, like I was just telling you, I felt myself leaning, and I was like, be more patient about it, be more calculated, and make sure you're picking your shots, because again, we're not boxing, we're bare knuckle.
Right. Yep. Okay. So that's actually a good point. What is the different tactical, the tactics you'll take in terms of bare knuckle versus actual boxing? I personally don't understand that. Love boxing. You know what I'm saying? But I don't understand the difference, except, first of all, the circle ring with the stiff ropes. Yeah, that's a different thing. And I'm only saying that for the people who don't know bare knuckle boxing. That's a way different thing, because there's no ropes to back up on and lean on. Sorry about that, but yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. No, that is a huge one, because a lot of boxers, especially slick boxers, they like using the ring like to give them that bounce back. And
I mean,
a lot
the greatest
boxers
have. Muhammad Ali used the ropes crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, you're fine. But no, absolutely. But those things don't give. And it's more of like, I think it's more relevant to an MMA fighter, because it kind of feels like a cage. So where it doesn't give. So they're kind of used to that feeling. Whereas boxers, it's like, wait a minute. I personally love the ring. I think it's one of the best crafted rings that I've ever been in. So I like it. I'm a fighter at the end of the day. Again,
so it don't fucking matter, right?
Yeah, I've fought in, pavement before. So anything is really a step up from that.
You fought on pavement before?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll get to that later. I feel like you grew up in the hood. I'm just going. Let's throw this out there.
I definitely grew up in the hood. I definitely had a good 10 years in the hood. So
it makes a bit of sense then. All right, got it.
Right.
Let's go.
so yeah, no, in boxing, again, I feel like a lot of it inside fighting is great in boxing. You got the gloves, and you kind of work the angles that way. I think that you can be more ferocious and load up on your punches in boxing. But in bare knuckle, if you end up loading up and being a little ferocious, you see people break their hands all the time. If I hit your elbow or hit your head, it could break your hand, and a broken hand is just not going to get you. I mean, you see people, I can reference so many fighters in BKFC that are good fighters, but they break their hand, they fall instantly, and they're done. So you have to be mindful of that. Plus cuts are just way more prevalent. So really, in bare knuckle, do I want to bang with you? I can. And I think I prove it to everyone. I'm very able to, but do I want to? I would rather pick my shots. I want to end it quick. I do for sure, but I definitely don't want to put myself in a reckless spot, because as you see, some of the fighters that walk away, I mean, they walk away with stitches in their face, with eyes swelled up. Like it's not, looking at the longevity, I want to be around for a long time, not just a short career. So that includes protecting myself, and protecting yourself in bare knuckle is knowing, hey, we're not fighting with, sponges on our hand. We're fighting with knives on our hands. So let's make sure we're moving.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you have a degree in sports management. Is that something after your career where you want to manage other fighters? Is that something that's going to happen?
Yeah, absolutely. At first, I always said I wanted to own and run my own gym. And that's kind of what the dream first started as. But as I've gone through it and seen people, and again, kind of bouncing back to that, helping people and making sure they're placed in the right, whether job, so they can provide for their family. I feel like it's so relevant in managing fighters for the careers, because a lot of fighters take the wrong fights. They take fights for the wrong reason. They're mismanaged. So I would definitely I think I would be really good at it. And that's kind of why I want to be, I definitely want to win a belt and be the best fighter I can. So when I do retire, when fighters come to me, I can say, one, I have my degree, but I also have this, and that, and I'll be a respected figure in the combative sports world, to where they can trust me on an educational, but also an experience level to manage their careers and their lives. Because a lot of times boxing really isn't a sport like football or basketball. It's really a lifestyle. You got to do it every day, because when we go into the ring, it's, you're talking about like real life stuff that can, be injury, or possibly even losing your life. People die in the ring. People have their, their throats, their trachea, they go to the hospital and got a blood clot. I mean, that could have ended terribly. So anything can happen. So when we go in there, it's just making sure we have the best in the, we know what the risks are, and we know what the rewards are too.
Speaking of you, wanting to get a belt. I mean, I think you're right there. I'm not even gonna lie. Like when I watched that the Beck Rollins fight, if there was one more round, I mean, that last round, I mean, you almost had it right at the end of the round. Like, it was just, you know what I'm saying?
I know. I feel like when they stopped the fight, my hand was cocked back. Like killer punch. And it's like, as soon as he said stop, I was like, no.
Yes. Yeah. It was like, man, I'm like, if there was one more, you would have had because at the end of that, I was like, woo, it was going to be the moment right there. I'm telling you. So I definitely see it coming.
Thank you. Well, I do too. And that's all I need. So as long as people believe in me, and, that helps me believe in myself. I mean, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I want to go back to the Paige Van Zandt fight. I was excited watching that fight. And one thing I want to ask, the fourth into fifth round, she was doing a lot, fourth and fifth. She was doing a lot of like you were saying, trying to come inside, right?
Right.
And you hit her with an uppercut that was mean. I was like, oh, I was watching it with my roommate, good friend. And I say, she's about to hit her as soon as she come inside, she's gonna hit her with an uppercut, and it's gonna be nasty. Boom, you hit her. I was like, oh, right? That was nasty, right?
Right.
So, but when she's coming inside, you trying to keep her at a distance. Talk about the fighter's mind and how you adjust, because you had to adjust quick, and then you started really throwing. You tearing her body up. I mean, like over and over and over and over. That's probably what won you the fight, to be honest, is those body punches, in my opinion. Just from a judging standpoint, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, because I mean, no, I still have. And a lot of people, kind of fault me on it. They're like, oh, a lot of people say I don't have power, which, whatever. They
really?
I've heard people say that I don't have power, which they just, let them think that, because it will just be another thing to shock them. But, I've always been like, my coaches have always been like, be busy. The busier fighter wins. The more punches you throw are points. So I've always just been really trained and coached to look at every punch as a point. And again, going back to a strong background in sports, I'm thinking point.
Yeah.
So
You're hitting buckets right there. You're hitting buckets.
Yeah. So I think that it was good for me that way, But I have seen it before, like with that back fight, for example. I hit her way more than she hit me, but
100%.
they said she had more damaging punches where she was more, they landed clean. But, whatever, that goes into a judging aspect and a different topic. But basically for her, yeah, again, I told you the whole game plan was her inside fighting. So we knew that she was going to do that. So we practiced that over and over. So that was an automated response. So when I felt her hands go around my neck, the only thing I could think of is if I feel her clinch me, it's just unleash. And it doesn't matter. They're going to land because one of her hands is gone. She's losing one of her hands. So if I know she's losing one of her hands, I have both mine. I can just dig the body over and over. So that's definitely what I was thinking every time she touched me. I didn't, I know that she threw some uppercuts and I knew she was going to plan to do that. So I purposely kept my hand like right here when we would clinch up. And there was a couple times she would come up and I could feel the impact of it, but rather than catching me on the chin, it was catching me in my hands and my
glancing,
wrist.
right?
Yeah. And I remember thinking in my head, man, I'm so freaking smart. Like, because that adjustment, because if I didn't make that adjustment and I tried to tangle up with her and clinch her back, I would have lost that defense. I would have lost that shield. And I would have been, who knows? She had one punch land and it cracked 3 of my teeth with one punch. So who knows what it could have been if those uppercuts had landed that she threw. But, those were definitely the adjustments that I was thinking. I remember it being funny in the ring, thinking like when I blocked something, I was like, yeah, you're smart. Keep it up. I was very into the fight. It was only the last 2 minutes that I kind of got away. The last round, and you could see, my coach again, my corner actually, Chris J, I met him in New Jersey at that fight too. So he's one of the reasons why I met him and got to train in California, because he met me on the Evander Holyfield card. Well, anyways, he said to me, he says, 2 minutes, Britton, to change your life. Give it everything you had. Yeah. And at that point in time, I wasn't thinking anymore. Like all thinking and the strategy just went out the window. All I remember thinking is just freaking throw,
just grit,
and just throw.
You could tell. Yeah. You could tell. All strategy goes out the window, and it's just who's the tougher person at that point, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's next for you in terms of fighting? And that's usually an end question. It was just in my mind. So what's the next fight? Can you say that? Or are you training right now? What's up?
Yeah, no, I'm training really hard every day. I definitely feel, more fight ready and itching for a fight more than ever now. I was actually really expected to fight May 21st, which is right around the corner. So
You would fight that quick?
Yeah, I was low key really ready for it, but so spoiler alert, it's not happening. Okay. So that was kind of like a roller coaster last week, because I was like, oh my God, I'm fighting May 21st. I'm back at it.
Who were you maybe going to fight? Can you say that or no?
It was going to be one other girl who fought bare knuckle before that was in the UFC. So they had talks about her fighting her, but then I think they said that she wasn't answering back, or her management wasn't getting her contract. So I don't really know if it was going to happen or not. But there were talks about her. There were some other girls that signed for BKFC. I know Christine Ferreira, definitely want to have that rematch and want that fight. But the main person I think that I had my set and my sights on was Jenny Savage, because that's the girl who came in at the end that I poured water on and was just talking a bunch of crap. But apparently, which I want.
Yeah, you wild with that shit, by the way.
yeah, that's the hood coming back out. Like, get out of here. Shit,
our viewers are gonna love that hood shit. They gonna love that shit. We mainly talk to hip hop people. So people are going to love the fact that's the hood coming back. That's going to be a good clip. We're using that.
Oh, yeah. No, it's definitely the hood loves me. We're actually visiting my hood gym here over the weekend. So I'm super happy to go back and see them, because they mean the world. They mean the world to me. So they're they're actually in Danville, Virginia. So, but anyways, So that girl, but she wants so she's just making it ridiculous, like running her mouth. And she's like, well, I need to be paid $20,000 to fight Britain. So now it's like, oh, she just did all that for the talk and the money. And they're like, well, really, who are you? Like, we're not paying you $20,000 to go fight. Like, you got to pay your dues. You got to step up. Like, look, keeping it real. My first 4 fights I didn't make over $1,000. You know, my very first pro fight, I actually only made $1. So that shit was crazy. They put $1 in my manager was a jackass and put $1 in an envelope and handed it to me. It was like, here you go, Britain. And then, you know, my next fight was 200. My next was 5. And then my fourth fight
you didn't
was
punch
7.
him? You didn't punch him in the face?
I should. He's one of those guys that will call.
I'll punch his ass. I'm just playing.
Good, but, yeah. Trust me, one day.
So how do you feel about that, right? Obviously, male fighters are paid different. It's not but female fighting is becoming damn near just as big. It's becoming a big thing very quickly. So how do you feel about that? Like, you know, being paid less, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that something that, I mean, obviously it's not fair, but talk about that. And is that changing? You feel me?
I mean, I hope it is, but I think, you know, when it comes to a lot of it, like I've done a lot of research and on like, are women placed in jobs, you know, and get paid in any job, not just fighting, in any job. And I do think there is some bias and some skewed statistics. You know, a lot of women, you know, don't want to necessarily work because they're taking care of their kids. They want it. They choose to be stay at home. So the numbers kind of get affected that way. But when it comes to fighting, absolutely, we're not paid as much as men. And a lot of people will be like, well, you're not big ticket sellers. You don't bring crowds in. People aren't excited to see you. And that is just, I'm sorry, it's just not true.
It's just false.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I hear it all the time. People go crazy over the women fights. And they'll say, you know how many comments I've heard? Wow, the female fight was on fire. The female fight was the best fight of the night. The females threw down. So if we're getting comments like that, not just on, I mean, everyone says it about my fight, but everybody, I've heard about tons of other female fights. And a really good one to kind of reflect and go back to is like Heather Hardy. Heather Hardy is an awesome boxer, and she fought Amanda Serrano. I don't know if you guys recall or remember that fight, but it was for a title fight in Madison Square. And they paid her maybe, I think, $50,000, which, heck yeah, 50,000 is a lot. But if that was
ain't nothing compared to what's being made.
Hell no, that would have been $1 million fight. If that was, you know, Teofimo or Lomachenko or someone like that, they would have been getting $1 million+ dollars. You know, they definitely wouldn't have been getting 50 grand for a main event.
That's robbery right there. That's highway robbery right there.
Yeah, and I think Heather Hardy made a stand, and people asked Heather Hardy, when are you fighting next? And she made
You good.
Sorry, I'm getting passionate about it.
No, you good. Hey, yo, you don't say the word passing twice now. I get geeked because the podcast name. So say it as much as you want. Do what you do.
Thank you. Sorry. She said, I'm not fighting again until I get paid what I'm worth. And it's like, you know, I love it. More power to you. But then it's like, it really sucks because I've tried to pull that card before too and say, no, I'm not getting. But then guess what? Guess what happens? You sit around twiddling your thumbs, you become inactive, and people start forgetting who you are. And it's like, damn, you know, you're really just faced at a dilemma that's like, what am I doing this for? And am I going to let people take my shine just because, you know, they're not paying me what I'm worth, and they damn sure aren't. Like, I'll say it 100 times. I'm damn sure not getting paid what I'm worth at all. And I never have gotten paid what I'm worth at all by a long shot. But am I going to sit there and be like, no, I'm not fighting for you because you're not paying me? No. And at the end of the day, they know I want it. They know I'm in there for a bigger reason. They know I'm out there fighting for all these people that, you know, are back home dealing with their problems. And that to me is more important than the paycheck. But it does suck. But it's something that, you know, again, sacrifices have to be made. And that's my sacrifice. So I had to, you know, give up some of my self-worth and value as a female. And so many females deal with that shit. You know, we have to do it. But I just keep thinking, you know, again, it's gonna be something different if I have anything to do with it in the next 5-10 years. And I'm really hoping, like, some of these females like Clarissa Shields, you know, even if we're not fans of them, they're still paving a way for women and for anyone who doesn't get what they deserve to know, hey, you can go out there and fight for what's yours and fight for your self-value if you work hard enough at it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So One of the first, I've been big into boxing since I was very young, but one of the first female boxers I remember, I think it was a Sports Illustrated issue, was Christy Martin, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that something that's inspired you? Number one, and then two, are there any what boxers in general? Let's just say that have inspired you from the past. Are there any that you look at or?
Christy Martin is definitely one. I've actually worked with her, so I've got to work with her before. Nice. Yeah, so she was a huge inspiration. She has a story much like mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I didn't know that.
believe,
wow.
Yeah, her husband tried to kill her as well. I think he actually shot her. I think that was what.
No, I do remember that story now. That's crazy though. I didn't even put that together when I asked that question. That's wild, man.
Yeah, and she did. So she went through that, and then she. Again, we're not perfect. We're human beings. I think she had a downfall, and she had her problems, and then she fought out of it. And now she's remarried, and she has her own promotion. So she runs her own promotions in like the Carolina area, and she does really good. So it's, and she's one of those, I know that's going to sound kind of crazy, but she's like an inspiration to me because Christy Martin doesn't really, like, it was so many people that said, you don't look like a boxer. You're not like muscle, like, girls that are boxers are like kind of, big, bulky muscles, or kind of like, tomboyish. You're too pretty to fight, or you don't have a six pack. Like, if you don't have a six pack, you can't fight. And it's like, damn, like, I run and work out every day, but I'm telling you this, I'm never going to have a six pack. I might have a four pack if I really, really say, hey, I'm doing 1,000 sit-ups, running, and eat salad every day. I might get a four pack, but other than that,
them donuts,
I eat donuts.
Man, them donuts.
Yeah. Donuts, baby.
I eat donuts, so I don't have a six pack. But I can still fight my ass off, and I can still fight. And she's one of those too. I think she doesn't look like your typical boxer. She has bangs, and she's not all crazy, but her skill was amazing. Her heart was good, and she's undisputably she's really honestly the well, I guess now I want to say undisputably, but she's arguably one of the top female boxers of all time. Like, her only loss
definitely a pioneer either way. Yeah,
and her only losses were to Ali, and really, she went out of her weight class to fight her to prove something. She rolled the dice on this. So, she was a huge role model that way. Huge inspiration. I love Teofimo right now. He's probably one of my favorite boxers that I look up to because he's really young. And again, a lot of people are like, oh, you're too young, to do this. And, people talk a lot, but he works really hard. He's really dedicated to the sport. And, I think his takeover mission is really working. And he never, he's always out there to surprise you and give good fights. So I love him as a role model, how hard he works in the gym and the sacrifices he makes for his family.
Well, shout out to him, man. That's what's up.
Yeah, for sure. So really, those are really any fighter that goes out there, I listen to the Buster Douglas story every time before I fight. And, he went out there and knocked out Mike Tyson. And the reason why is because his mom just died, and his mom believed in him, and
that's
he didn't
different
fight.
Inspiration. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. So he didn't do it for him. He did it for his mom. And when I found out that secret and looking at what do these fighters have? What are they doing to win? But they're not necessarily have all the pieces. What is it that makes them great? And it's the fact that it seems like they're doing it for other reasons than just themselves.
They pull from life, like you have said already. They pull from life, and there's a different type of drive. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But speaking of diet, because you talked about it, what is your diet? Does your diet change pre-fight as opposed to not fighting or not having a fight ready, or are you always in fight mode with your diet? So, and that might be a chauvinist question. I might get canceled for that question. I just thought of that shit.
So
I asked Sergio Pettis the same thing, so that's fair.
Right. No. It's a good question. So honestly, the truth is when I box, I fight at 118. So I walk around at like 122, 125.
But you were heavy for the Paige Van Zandt fight then, a little.
Right. Well, because bare knuckle only has, so again, this is me being the type of person I am, fighting adversity and fighting obstacles and not making an excuse. Bare knuckle only has one fight division or one fight class for women, and it's 125.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's only one. So I can't fight
That's
at
weird.
115 in bare knuckle. Yeah. I can't fight at my weight class. So guess what I have to do? I have to sit around and eat donuts. Yeah. So I have to eat more. So my fight plan, people probably hate me. Other fighters probably hate me because they're all cutting weight, dying. And I'm like eating tacos. You know, I eat healthy food. Like I don't eat fried. You know, I don't eat things that are going to bring my energy down. But for the Paige Van Sant, I mean, me and my coach, we joked about it all the time because he said, how many tacos did you eat today? And I'd be like, 8. So I ate mad tacos for that fight and tamales and cake.
Hey, you know that's a flex. You know that's a flex and a half because you won.
Tacos and tamales. Tacos and tamales. That's my shit right there.
Your Tuesdays was lit. Your Tuesdays is crazy, right?
Hey, and a Cinco de Mayo tomorrow, son. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You on the tacos
I would definitely
tomorrow?
be participating with tacos with that too. I actually had tamales. Man. We had tamales. I think it was on Saturday. We ordered one plate. Else. Oh, they were so good. We ate them all, and then we ordered a second round. So we said, so instead of having a second round of drinks, we're like, we'll get a second round of the tamales, please. So we eat. So
you went to the food coma instead of the buzz. I get it.
Absolutely. So, but now I'm walking around at like 131. You know, so I'm actually a little bit bigger than what I've been used to the last 10, 15 years. So the last 10, 15 years, I really haven't weighed over 130, but I'm super strong. You know, I'm like, again, I'm working out like 4 to 6 hours a day. So I'm healthy, I'm strong, I'm working on building muscle. I'm working on, again, you ask what's next, but I promise you, whoever it is and whenever it is, you guys are going to be super excited because you're going to see a whole new Britton Hart, and you're going to be like, holy shit, what super tacos has she been eating? Because I've definitely put on some muscle with the weight.
She got extra cheese on her tacos.
The double steak, son, the double steak.
Yeah. That's
for sure. But it's going to make me more competitive in this thing. Because again, I'm coming for the belt in BKFC. I'm coming to beat every single female in there. And my only obstacle was these girls are a little bigger than me. Like, look at Paige. She was easily 145 that day when we fought. And if you saw us side to side, I mean, she's still in good shape. She was way bigger. If you look at her arms next to my arms and her legs next to my legs, she's way bigger on a muscle level. So she cut to 125. I mean, you saw her on her Instagram. She was suffering with a sauna suit. And I'm telling you, I'm sitting here like trying to eat more weight. When I weighed in, I would think I weighed in at 124, and I had ate a big breakfast and a big lunch that day. So, you know, it was a little different. But now that I've had this time since February, I've had all of February, March, April, May to be weightlifting, to be eating good, to be working out.
I was going to ask that, what kind of weight training are you doing?
It's coming to be more like muscle now.
So what kind of weight training are you doing? Is it heavy, or is it just definition more, lighter weight? What kind of weight training are you doing? So
it's really like a lot of like explosive, we do kettlebells. Reps. Yeah. So we do a lot of things with kettlebells, pulling up the kettlebells, power cleaning. Let's see, what are some other things they have us doing? I mean, they just have us doing some wild, crazy stuff that
not much running, right? Not much cardio. Is that correct? Or
well, because it's such high intensity, like we'll do like 20 rounds and it's like 3 minutes, and then you get a 30-second rest, 3 minutes, 30-second rest, 3 minutes, and you're doing that for 30 rounds straight. So, I mean, that itself is cardio, but I have been running. Yeah. So I try to run 3 miles every day. I haven't been the best at it, I'm not going to lie, but that's only because I've been wiped out from all the other stuff that we're doing. I mean, I'm telling you, like
the tacos today, no, I'm playing.
Yeah,
I'm joking. But bless. I'm joking.
I did eat tacos today, so it's actually.
Oh, see, I'm not so far off.
Yeah,
I'm just.
So
I'm a jokester. Hey, I'm just playing. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I needed it today, actually. I think we did like 6 rounds sparring. So I had 6 rounds sparring today, and then in the workout we had to do double end bag for 2 rounds. We had to do the uppercut for 2 rounds. We had to do the heavy bag for 2 rounds. And then we had a run. We did run today. So we had to run 3 laps around the block. And then we had to hold these planks and then do waterfall dumbbell work. So we had to throw like 10 punches, 20 punches, 30 punches, all the way to 100 and then back down with push-ups in between them. So it's just, I mean, it's just a lot of, definitely a lot. But every workout every day is super different. So sometimes it's kind of hard to keep it all straight, but they put us through it. That's for sure.
Do you vary your workouts up on purpose? Is that a strategy for like different muscle training, or is that a strategy, or is it just how do your coaches approach that?
So the trainers that I'm with right now, they're approaching it that way. And I'm honestly just trusting the process. So I'm a really good student to the game. I know what I know, but I'm definitely humble in the fact that when I go to another gym or another coach, what they teach me, I listen and I do it. If I think it works, whatever, I'll use it in the ring. If it doesn't, I won't. But as far as in training purpose, I just do what I'm told because I think that there's some importance to that. Because if I thought I trusted myself, why would I go to the gym? I'd just train myself. I'd go to a park and train myself. So I'm there to learn from them and see what they have. And if it works, not saying that, it's the case all the time, but I mean, who's to say what's right or wrong? So for what gym I am now, I just listen and it varies all the time. So it's very challenging. But my coach back home and in California, so big shout out to Knuckleheads Boxing and MMA and Coach Haas. He kept things very consistent for me and super stable. And I really liked that about him. It was actually one of my favorite, best camp I ever had, because every day I knew what we were doing. I knew what was expected of me, and it kind of gave me a benchmark. So every day when I came in, when I got better, when I got faster, when I got stronger, I knew it because I was like, oh, last time this was hard, but this time I'm breezing through it. And I really, really liked that. So that personally, was important and key to me and for me. But like, again, I like what I'm doing now too, because it really challenges me. And, I'm like, I'm adapt. So it's teaching me how to adapt and make adjustments because I'm like, whoa, I'm not used to this. How am I going to push through it when I'm not used to it?
Yeah, absolutely. So people called you the female Rocky story. What do you think about that, yo? Like, do you take to that, or is that something that you like, relax? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I'm actually I have my Contenders Rocky briefs on right now. So I'm actually rocking them too. So shout out to Contenders for their Rocky collection. But
that's what's up.
I do. And I've been to Philly. I've trained in Philly. And
have you been to the Rocky Steps?
Yep, I sure have.
Hey.
I have a video of me running them and everything. So
nice.
I definitely relate to it, especially with the comeback story, because I'm not an undefeated boxer. I've lost before. So having that failure and being able to identify with someone who bounced back, because so many people today, they don't they don't look your way if you're, unless you're undefeated. If you're undefeated, you're something. But if you have a loss, it's like they count you out. But Rocky is a really great story on like, hey, it's not over till I say it's over. And it's not over until we're winning. So it's a huge motivation. And again, I really lived that experience. I chased chickens and caught chickens and ran on the road and pushed cars.
Hold up. So you saying you took the Roy Jones training approach and you chased chickens?
Absolutely. Yep.
Did you get that from there, or is that something that that's Virginia shit, Utah shit, or what? I mean, that's a little different.
No, I did. I got it from Rocky and Roy. Roy actually brought me down to Pensacola, so I actually stayed in Pensacola with him. Yeah, I couldn't really tell many people because I was out on bond, but yeah.
So is this new information that Pick Apart the Passion is getting exclusively?
Yeah, because I hopefully
I'm
you
joking
can't
around.
put me in jail for it now. but I went down there and trained down there and was super happy for it, man. I was super thankful. But he has a good female fighter, so I was her sparring partner. So they brought me in to get her ready. But when I was down there, his house, he is hundreds and hundreds of chicken coops. I mean, everywhere. And it was just, it was really cool to see. So it always stuck with me. So I'll always remember that. So thanks, Roy.
Yay. Shout out to Roy Jones Jr. if you want to come on. No, I'm just fucking around. But so this is I don't know how much time you got. I wasn't sure. I think it was an hour. So last question or just a question for now. Me and Danku both do we make hip hop music. That's our field. Most of the guests have been hip hop, right? But we trying to branch out and get other people. Awesome. I don't know if you listen to hip hop or what you listen to, but here's one thing I have to ask. We asked Sergio, he asked Sergio Pettis the same thing. What is the music you're listening to when you're getting ready for a Paige Van Zandt or Becca, or you know what I'm saying? What's the music you listen to? What's your playlist like?
So I will say I'm a huge Kevin Gates fan. So I definitely have like 5 of his songs. I've walked out to 2 of his songs before.
Okay.
So, I've definitely relate to some of those, and it's definitely gotten me through. And there's some songs on it that pump me up too, like Break the Bitch Down. I always listen to that every time. So I love that song. I go with that. I also listen to Eminem. I've walked out to a lot of his songs.
Wait, what Eminem though? Early Eminem? Like what kind of, I need to know what Eminem songs. I need specifics.
Okay, so early Eminem is definitely the best. But the Beautiful Pain, actually with the Paige Van Zandt song, that was an Eminem song.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was an Eminem song, and not a lot of people really know that song.
Yeah,
and that song. I mean, I don't know. You go back and listen to it after this interview, and you'll be like, "Shit, I really get her," because that is absolutely my life to a T. Every
How
lyric
ironic
in that
is
song,
that?
every single lyric. I listen to that song all the time, and I have been for like years now. I listen to it like almost, if I could, on a daily, because it's just a reminder of my life.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
That was on repeat before you fought it. Ain't that some shit? I'm sorry. That's crazy to me. I'm just saying that's crazy. Yeah.
So
Destiny is what it is, right?
It is, and it's just, it happens that way, and that's kind of what I'm big. I'm actually a huge music person. Music person. I love hip hop. Hip hop is actually my favorite.
Talk about some of your other music shit then. Talk about the other music influences or likes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think music is like a really big part of like sharing, like, sometimes we stumble with the right words to say and we don't really know what to say, but you can go find a song and I can send you a song and be like, this is my mood today.
Right. This is who I am as a person. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that mood changes. So it might be like, I like hard rock. Like I like listening like Linkin Park. I like listening to like, I did Alice in Chains. I like Limp Bizkit. I mean, I like the spectrum is so all over the place, so I like it all. I listen to Five Finger Death Punch, a lot of their songs. I mean, that was like probably a good 8 months of my life on repeat, so that was an age. And then I'm also a super, again, it's kind of sounds like a weirdo, but I mean, I listen to Celine Dion and
that's not weird.
Down to Celine Dion, and I love her songs, like her song with Neo, Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know that song, but
yes.
Incredible. I listen to that song when I run all the time. Like, let's show them something incredible. It's so inspiring and such an amazing song. So when I run, I play that song because it makes me think, like, it puts me in a good spirit to want to run. Because really, I mean, unless you love running, it's hard to run sometimes. But when you train your mind to get in that, it's like, hey, let's show them something incredible. So anyways, I just love that song. I like Saya, Greatest. I listen to that, feel free to be, why can't I be the greatest? So some of those thought processes go in my head when I listen to those songs. Me Because of You, I listen to that and I think about a lot of people when I listen to that song. I'm only me because of certain influences I have, because if I didn't have them, I don't think I would have been strong enough to bounce back when I was in rock bottom. So many different songs that, I look at and think about, whether I'm sad, if I'm mad, if I'm happy, motivation, but whatever my mood is will determine what I'm listening to.
You focus that energy, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of what you're saying right now seems to me like meditation technique, right? So talk about, do you use any meditation techniques before fighting? Or like, obviously you get hype, you work out, you run. Besides music, are there any techniques like self-talk and meditation where you sit still and bring it back down to then focus? Is that a part of your training?
Yeah, I should probably do it more often, because I think it would help me in the rest of the aspects of my life if I did it. But it's like one of those things. It's like I just do it in training
We
camp.
all feel that way, by the way.
Yeah, good. That makes me feel better because I'm like, man, I felt so great in training camp, and then when training's over, it's like, why don't I feel great? Well, because you're not doing the same things to be great. But when I run in the morning, I always listen to I don't listen to music when I run in the morning. I started off with a motivational thing, like one of those, they literally talk like it's like one of those powerful music in the background. Like, you can't quit.
Is there specific people you listen to? Because I do the same thing sometimes. So,
I can't.
Like Wayne Dyer or any of that.
Honestly, I just YouTube and say my why motivational videos and they'll be they'll compile them all together and string them together for like 30 minutes. Okay. And so I'll listen to them. And if they make me they impact my soul, usually I can tell it impacts my soul because I get very misty eyed. So if something touches me, I'll tear up. So if I tear up while I'm listening to something, I'll save it. And then I'll save it. I'll either share it on my Facebook or I'll go back and I'll listen to it over and over and I'll be like, this is it. So when I find that video, it changes every training camp and I'll listen to it every single day. I'll click the link and I'll listen to the same one because again, it's about repetition and hearing, it's whatever the message is. Like one message was, basically haters are going to hate. So many people were being really mean to me and they were like, harassing me and being negative. So I had to listen every day that they're only doing that because they're jealous. They're only doing that because they can't have what I have. And I had to listen to that every day to believe it. Now, I don't need that anymore. I don't listen to that now. Why? Because I get it. I don't need that pump.
Right.
And then, for the Paige Vincent fight, I mean, I know it's crazy, but that's where the feeling speech came from. Cause it's like, I'm doing it for the feelings because I'm able, I am capable, I'm worthy. And that was part of the motivational video. And it said it out loud. And I'm telling you, it sounds crazy, but when I was running, I would yell that stuff running on the beach. I would say, I am able, I am healthy, I am capable, I am smart. And I would just repeat it over and over to that video. And it got to be such a habit that I could play Eminem. I could play Eminem, or I could play a song. And while I'm playing the song, I could repeat the series of I am capable, I am worthy. I would shout it without copying what someone else was saying. So that definitely is something that I do. I definitely, again, I only do it when I'm in fight camp. I don't know why, but when I'm in fight camp, I take Epsom salt baths.
Oh, that's great.
Because,
I'm not an athlete anymore, but I still do that.
Right.
Yeah, those are great. Those are great for you.
I love them so much. And I'm complaining right now. I'm like, man, my body's so sore and I'm aching and I complain about it every day. And I'm like, well, why don't I take an Epsom salt bath? Because I do it in training camp all the time and it works miracles, man. It is a miracle worker. So every night that was part of my process. It was a long ass process, but I would stay 30 minutes in a bath and I would just sit there and I would play the video that I'm telling you about. I wouldn't play music. I would play the video to kind of tap into my mind on what it's like to think to be great and really what I'm searching for. So anyways, next fight camp, I don't know. I can't really tell you what it's going to be like. I'm going to have to put the pieces together, but I'll find what it's relevant. And I'm sure it will have something to do with, hey, when you're at the top, it's the hardest place to be because people want what you got. You got to work to stay at the top. And now that I'm a freaking, I'm a lion, I got to show what lions do and I got to protect what's mine. So I'm sure I'll find something of the sort to relate but each issue, it will be something that's specific. And then once I hone in on it, it's a repetition, man. Just like when we train, just like when we shadow box over and over, and you do that jab to get the perfect jab, you got to listen to something over and over until it really gets in your mind. And then once it's in your head, then you can move on to a different tactic.
Sure. One thing you said in there that really was something I want people to hear is that you got misty-eyed because you were inspirational, but you took that into being a driving force. I think it's important for females to understand that it's okay, because a lot of females get shunned for this. Shunned's not the right word. Ridiculed for being. Sorry about my video. I don't know what's going on, but for being emotional, but at the same time fierce as fucking knocking somebody out, right?
Right.
And I think females need to understand, and males for that matter, that it's okay to be both, right? It's okay to be emotional here and fierce over here. So talk about how that balance and how important that is for young females, please.
Yeah. I honestly look at it as, to be honest with you, I mean, and men do it too. When I see somebody go and win a fight and they just I mean, I think even as fans and as people, as motivating factors and a driving force, that's kind of what we want to see. Like, we want to see people be vulnerable with their, like, we want to see that it's meaningful. When I see somebody, they used to teach me this all the time. Like, when I would score a goal in soccer, I would celebrate and be like, yeah, boom, got it. And they'd be like, no, you need to walk away. Like walk
you did
around,
it before.
Yeah. And I'd be like, well, wait a minute. What? Like, I don't score all the time. It's cool, but I don't score all the time. So what the hell?
You're like, hey.
Yeah. And then so I started doing that, right? So because someone told me that, I changed who I was, and I stopped celebrating after I scored goals. And I would just walk to the middle of the field. And you know what? It felt wrong. Like, it felt like, oh, like, what? You're not like, you know, and when I see other people do it, like, I'm cheering. I'm like, yeah, they scored a goal. And then they're just walking to the middle of the line. And it's like, they don't even care. They don't even care that they just won the scoring goal. What the hell?
Yeah.
So, like, in fighting, when I see fighters that they win, you know, now if you're beating and knocking out a scrub, then don't beat on your chest and be like, oh, I'm King Kong. It's like, dude, you beat up someone my sister can beat up. Like, what the hell? You know, like, don't.
I'm assuming your sister isn't a fighter then.
Right, exactly.
I'm
like,
just playing, I'll play it, but go ahead.
Let's not cheer that on. But seriously,
no, I'm joking. I was joking. I'm sorry.
No. I'm being serious. It's like, if somebody knocked out someone who doesn't know how to fight, I'd be like, you're an idiot. Like,
I get it.
Anyone can do that. So, but when it's a fight that you prepared for and it's a hard fight, absolutely. I mean, I think that's what we want to see, is that it meant something. Like, other than that, why are you fighting? Why are you getting in the ring? If it doesn't mean anything to you, why are you fighting? And I mean, if you're going in the ring just to pad your record, so you have a padded record, whatever, you know, I don't care about you. But if you're going in the ring for the fight of your life, or you're B-side, or you're defending your belt, or you're standing up for something, what did it mean to you? What does it mean to win? You know, I think that people need to see that. And for me, you know, that's where you see what's important to people, and that we're all people and we're all going through it. And, you know, showing your emotions. So many people are scared, and today is such a scary time too, that people are so easily offended and don't know what to say anymore. It's like, at the end of the day, we're all the same. We all bleed the same blood. We're all the freaking same. And if we all could be treated like that, it would solve a lot of these problems, I think, that are going on today.
100%.
And I think that goes with being vulnerable and open, that, hey, we're all happy for the freaking small things. Like, I'm happy that I'm training in an awesome gym, but hey, someone else might be happy that they have a hot meal.
The 2 bags, right? The 2 bags that you had before, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. So, I mean, I don't know if you watched my documentary, but there was one time
I have not, but I will go now. I feel bad. Now you say this shit I ain't watching, like, I fucked up. No, I'm playing.
Oh, no, but you'll at least appreciate it more, because you'll know.
100%.
You'll be 100%. Like, damn, I knew what she was talking about, and it's so real. But you see me hanging a heavy bag on it. You know, when COVID happened, all the gyms were closed. So you know what I did? I got a heavy bag and I hung it on my daughter's swing set. And it was like covered in mud. And I was happy to have that swing set. Like, I was super happy to have just one bag that was covered in mud in the middle of a nasty ass, gross little field, you know? And now I'm in, you know, exactly. So it puts it in perspective what we really should be thankful for and happy, happy for what we got, and that, we really all have those same emotions. And it's okay. Like, a lot of times people ridicule me. Like, I am just now talking about my criminal background and like things that I struggled like with alcohol and everything. I've never talked about that before because everyone was pretty hateful to me about it. Or they're like, you're, a piece of shit mom, you're this, you're not a real athlete, you're not this, you don't represent our town good. I mean, I've heard it all. And I was really scared to be open about it because I felt like people would be like, oh, she's not really as great as she says she is. She's not really as inspiring as she says she is. But then when I realized, when I was affecting the people that had been through that, I felt like they're more important to get that message to people who are going through. So I'm not hiding anymore on what I went through. That 100%. Is what I went through. And I can talk about it now because I don't have people throwing knives in my back, because I moved past that, and they can't hurt me anymore. And I took away their power of hurting me, being like, you're a bad person, because I know I'm not.
And that has to be a freeing feeling, like just a freedom within yourself to feel that way eventually, right? Like, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just agreeing. Like, absolutely. Yeah. Like, you have no idea. Like, again, it was the worst feeling. Like, I lost myself. Like, I used to help so many people that were like, going through like drug addiction and stuff. And I used to really be like, I helped them. Like, I had one guy come up to my house and knock on the door and ask if he could borrow my iPhone charger. And I wasn't like, no, you can't fucking have my iPhone charger. Be a good person. Yeah, sure. Hold on 1 second. So I went and got him my iPhone charger, right? Gave him my iPhone charger, and he walked across the street and whatever. Next day, huge thing. Oh, Britain was seen with a known coke dealer, and they were hand-to-hand transaction. Shit. He walked up to her house, and guess what, man? I mean, you have no idea how much pain and torture that caused me. And especially when you're dealing with custody issues with my kids. Here I am being a good neighbor and helping someone. I don't care what he does is his business. If that's what he does to survive, that is on him. It doesn't make him less of a person. And it doesn't make me someone to judge him and say, ooh, get away from me, or don't you dare come up to my house. I'm going to give you the iPhone charger and let's go on about our day, But it backfired on me. So because it backfired on me for like a year, I stayed away. I cut off a lot of my friends who did drugs because I was like, I can't be around you anymore, because me being around you, I'm guilty by association. And it's causing me, and it sucked. I'm not even gonna lie. It sucked.
I get that.
It made me feel lost. Like, I'm not being true to who I am. Just because I was hanging out with them doesn't mean I was necessarily doing it. It doesn't mean any of that. But the fact is, I chose what my image was and shape. But, then again, it's like, you got to look at it. You are what you eat. And maybe it was a good thing for me to get away from them. But now that I'm stronger and better to help them, it's something that I can talk about and be like, hey, I'm not ashamed of who you are. I know who I am. And that should be good enough. So if I want to hang out with you, I want to hang out with you. It doesn't matter. What you do is what you do, but I'm not going to have anyone dictate who I hang out with, whether they think they're a loser or not. That's going to be my decision.
Well, that is a lesson to a lot of people. And a lot of things you've said on this so far, I'm actually super, I don't like the word impressed, because I feel like that's cheesy, right? But I'm like, that's a lot of things you said on here are lessons for a lot of people. And a lot of people probably listen to this and be like, all right, if she can feel that way and been through the shit she's been through, it's going to be a lesson for me. So this is the last question. We'll make this the last question, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You had said you had a daughter. Danku's got 2 daughters. I got a daughter. What do you say to young females pursuing anything? Just what is, because you're the first female we've had on the podcast, I wanted to make that impression to females, not for popularity or anything. I want that. I think it's important, and we have plenty of females coming up down the road. I just want to say that, people. But what do you say to the young female who has a goal, whether she's 19 and been through shit, has a goal, whether she's 6, whether she's 45? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Talk to the females. Talk to the females for us, please.
Yeah, you have to do it no matter what. Don't, you do what you love. If you want to be an actress, go be an actress. Go take that leap. Go to New York and go to auditions. If you're a mom, it doesn't mean you have kids. it doesn't mean ask for help, ask people to help, or take your kids with you. You know, there are a lot of things that you can do. Like I had to sit my daughter, just because I had kids doesn't mean I wasn't in a boxing gym. My daughter had to sit with me every day for boxing, and she could participate, or she had other little friends, but you know, where there's a will, there's a way. And that's all I can say. If something is important to you, you got to follow it no matter what, or you might regret it for the rest of your life. And even when you're 45, like there's another girl I talked to, she's older, and she's like, oh, I'm too old to box. I'm too old to fight. And I'm like, don't say that. You're never like, look at me. I started when I was 25.
Which is old for a boxer technically, right?
Exactly. Like I started when, and I'm talking like ever, like I never put on a pair of boxing gloves until I was 25.
Wow.
And
that
so
right there is
me,
inspirational alone, man.
Yeah. And look, now I've been on TV, and now I'm this and that. Absolutely. And I didn't even wear gloves until I was 25. So you're never too old to do anything. But it's really just realizing it. And it's not even like we've talked about the word passion, but the best quote I can leave with the female is, you know, you got to follow your efforts. Like, what do you put effort in? Do you draw every day? If you draw every day, submit some of your paintings and get recognized for the artist you are. Do you sing every day? Go find a local, like go join your choir or a local bar and say that you'll perform and have people come in. Like, go live that dream of performing. You know, if you want to fight, go find a gym, go get a heavy bag. If you want to play basketball, go to a court every day and practice. Do free throws, make videos.
Facts.
Whatever it is, you have to follow your effort, because what you put effort in is what's going to show long term. And I just think everyone, it's again, we're talking about being cliche, but it's your life, and so many people don't get to live the life they want, and you just you can't make excuses for it. You just got to follow what's important, and hopefully you find something that you love. And if you truly love something, you're never working.
100%. Hey, we can end it right there. Appreciate your time like tenfold. I know you're busy. You was training earlier. When you said that earlier, I'm like, damn, man, she's doing this podcast. Like, I wouldn't have done my podcast if I was training earlier. You know what I'm saying? But hey, really appreciate you. Great to meet you. That message to little girls is going to resonate probably for years. And I appreciate that.
I hope so. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. This has been Pick Apart the Passion podcast. And sometimes you have to pick apart yourself to find your passion. And as my pops always says, is it better to be Is it better to be right or kind? Thank you for joining Pick Apart the podcast. This has been Britton Hart.
Much love.
Soon to be champ, yo. Let's just say that. Appreciate
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Pick apart the passion. Pick apart the passion. Pick the passion. Pick passion. Pick apart the passion. Pick apart the passion. 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 Passion.